I think the next trend should be processing the documents, and for the solution to be able to forecast what's going to happen in the near future. So maybe by processing a lot of PO invoices or POs, looking at how much the price changed recently and predict what is going to happen. So to me, everything around prediction, AI, will be a big thing. Because today what we do is we talk about real-time data. So we talk about, you have the data for today, right now, in real time. I think the next thing is we predict what the data will be or what should happen.
Hi everyone, and welcome to TRG Talk Digital. I'm your host, Viktor Nagradic, and today with me is Florian Noiret, Head of Sales for EMEA, Yooz. Welcome.
Thank you, Viktor.
All right, nice to have you at our facilities here. As I know, this is your first time in Asia, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so that is my first question, actually. So let's not jump into the business right away. I would like to hear a bit, what's your first impression of Vietnam?
Yeah, so I landed yesterday morning. Feels like 10 days already to me, but it was 24 hours ago. And I just love it. There's people everywhere. So that's kind of what I was expecting, in Asia, from what you see. But I just love the energy. It's just great. It's a bit too hot for me. But it's been great. And we've been doing a lot with you guys. So I very good trip so far. We'll see. I will enjoy a little bit tomorrow, Saturday. So maybe some other feedbacks. But yeah, so far I just love it.
All right. Are there any shockers, like cultural shockers, that you already noticed for this 24 hours?
Well, there is scooters everywhere. So
All right.
So driving is it seems like a nightmare. I mean, to me, it seems normal for everyone. But when when I jump into a cab, and I see them, and I see all the scooters doing that, and I'm just like, how is it possible that no one is on the ground, falling? Because so that's the first thing. But then a good one is the food. I never really tried anything similar, and I want to test everything. So the team bring me to different places, and I just love it. So it's a good shocker in a good way. I wasn't expected that to be so good. So yeah.
All right, that's good to hear. Food is something that everyone who comes to Vietnam puts on their top spot, and I can agree to that. And I understand you're shocked with the traffic, but trust me, like after a week here, you get used to it, and you just want to dive in and be a part of it.
Yeah.
All right, so today we're going to talk about the industry that we are both in, about some trends when it comes to cloud technology, use of AI in the industry. So before we get into that, could you give us a short introduction of yourself and Yooz?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Florian. I'm head of sales for Yooz in EMEA. I started with Yooz 6 years ago. So started as a sales consultant, actually working for the UK market. So at the time, Yooz is still a French company, and we created a company in 2010, expanded quite quickly into the US market, and then when I joined 6 years ago, so in 2019, 2018, we expanded to the UK market. So now obviously we're looking after, Yooz is massive in France, big in the US, and getting even bigger in the UK. And now we continue to expand into APAC. So my role in Yooz is to look after the sales consultant team that is working for the UK region, the EMEA French-speaking region, which is going to be Belgium, Luxembourg, and Switzerland, and what we call the EMEA English-speaking region, which is mainly UAE and South Africa. APAC is something we are focusing on this year. So through the partnership, of course, and it's now part of my role as well to do that. And to say a bit more about Yooz as a company, what we do, so we provide a P2P solution. So the goal for us is to automate the procure-to-pay process for our customers. And we do that through a solution that is cloud-based, 100%, and that is going to automate the way customers are receiving their invoices. We are going to match invoices to POs and push them back into ERP system, especially a SEN system.
All right. So you already mentioned procurement. So I would like to ask you like a very obvious question, and that is how the game changed over the last few years for everyone who's dealing with procurement.
Yeah. Well, so I think there's a lot of things. There is kind of like a prior COVID and after COVID. There's a lot of things that change. I think procurement was not on the top list of things that company was worried about before COVID, because everything was working well, and even though it may not be fully automated or processes might be a bit tricky, there's no real issue there. And then when COVID happened and everything changed, so from the fact that you have to work remotely, that you have to be flexible, so how can you process an order or place a request when you're not at the office, or when your supplier is actually not receiving them or delivering them. So this is when I think everything changed. People were trying to look at solution to continue to work, trying to find solution to have a more flexible way of doing procurement, and also that has a massive impact on everything you're buying, the price impact. So you need also to get that visibility. You need to have that security in terms of how much what I was buying 10 years ago, how much that was costing me, and now how much this is costing me now, and having that visibility, that day-to-day visibility on the price change, that is also a massive impact. So I will say that it became quite quickly a priority for all the companies to get that visibility over the procurement process, and being able to have that flexibility of placing an order, being able to continue to work remotely, keeping an eye on what's happening, even though you're traveling, then you can see it from an app, for example. That became a big thing for our clients.
Would you say that COVID and like everyone switching into digital space and online pushed you as a company to do more and like develop certain things faster than what you originally planned to?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we were mainly focusing on API automation, so accounts payable, and the procurement side of things were there because we need to have a purchase order to match it to an invoice, but we were not really focusing on that side of things maybe 10 years ago. And then when that happened, that definitely accelerated the fact that we should also provide to our customer the full end-to-end solution. And yeah, you're right. Remote working after COVID changed everything because people need to be able to place an order from their home. They don't want to have to deal with like a VPN access or having like a crash and having to go to the office to reboot everything. So yeah, they needed to have some kind of cloud-based system, and we were already into that direction, and it just accelerated things for us. So yeah, definitely. And even as a company, we also experienced that. So we realized how important it was to actually have this kind of tools to help us and give us that visibility we couldn't have before. So yeah.
So what would you say was the biggest jump up from before COVID and after COVID, like where we are today? Do you think we would be at this level of development if it wasn't for COVID?
I don't think, I don't think so. I don't want to say that COVID was a good thing for that.
Of course.
So, no, I think it's just that, yeah, it definitely accelerates things. And, working from home, and that wasn't a thing. Companies were doing that, of course, some of them, but you always have the possibility to go on site. You can always place an order, talk to someone, even call your supplier and just go on site to check if everything has been delivered. And then when COVID happened, we realized, how are we going to even work if we cannot be on site, if we cannot do that? So definitely it was a huge jump for the industry, and it brings tons of other problems as well, because you have to deal with stuff that you didn't have to deal with in the past, security, hosting the data, all this kind of stuff that wasn't a thing because you had the piece of paper and you just sign it. And now you have attempt of fraud, So it was a big jump, and I think COVID definitely changed the game on that. It's I think we are where it accelerates everything.
Did this shift help you like gain more clients in a shorter period of time?
Yeah, as well. So not just procurement side of things. I think just having to work from home and the AP side of things, the accounts payable side of things, accountant. They were used to, being at the office and printing the actual invoices, looking at it, and then placing them on the approver desk, waiting for the approvers to sign it manually, then taking back. So obviously when COVID happened, they couldn't do that anymore. So the AP side of thing as well was very, very impacted. And so people were looking at a solution at the time. And I think what's funny about that is that, 10 years ago, or 15 years ago even, we were actually saying that to companies. Be careful, be prepared, never know what could happen. You should be able to have that flexibility. And companies were like, yeah, it's not a priority for us now, it works fine. And if we lose a paper, we can print another one, And then when COVID happened, they all of a sudden realized, we do actually have to invest into this. So that accelerates stuff for us. And yeah, definitely help us to grow. And it was perfect timing for us launching the UK market. Mm-hmm. So it's actually worked well. But now, even if COVID is 3 years ago, I think it ended, maybe. Yeah.
We have 4 now already.
Oh, okay. Time flies. But yeah, even now that COVID ended, I think now people realize how important it is to be flexible. So COVID is kind of out of the way, but it's still a number one thing for companies to invest into digital transformation. It's still a thing.
Yeah. Since you mentioned digital transformation, what would you say for you as a company was the biggest bottleneck into proving to companies that actually need a digital print and like things in cloud instead of paper?
Well, so there is like a common thing where I think companies think that a document is more secure when it's like sitting on the desk for some reason. And there is that whole thing around security, about hosting the data, about how secure is the data when it's moving from a country to another, all of that. And so I think, there is that, and there is everything around change management. When you're so used to do something for like 20 years, and all of a sudden, instead of a piece of paper, you have to do it online, that feels weird. So I think that the whole security thing, going on a website, feels like, it's not a proper program that I install locally on my PC. It's actually a website. It feels like I go on YouTube, So is it secure? Can I share my data with it? It's my suppliers' invoices. It's very important to me. So that whole security thing, I think, was very difficult to convince companies to move to the cloud because of that. And then the industry wasn't ready at the time, maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, because it's like, a job of an accountant, a job of a procurement person, purchase department, hasn't changed for the past 30 years, 40 years. So they're so used to the way they are doing things that when you look into something, and it's really difficult to see that there is other best practices around, and trying to convince them what you're doing at the moment is not the best, way to do stuff, and there is other efficient way to do it. They don't want to see it because they're used to it. They're afraid of changing.
Yeah, we also on a daily face this same challenge, explaining that cloud is actually pretty secure and that technology moved past this as like not being a unsafe space anymore. Are there any other misconceptions that you face working with people so security and cloud is one of the things? Are there any other hurdles?
Well, I think the technology we are using, for example, when it comes to procurement or invoices, is that we are using an OCR and AI to read and extract information from the document. And the misconception is that AI changed quite rapidly recently, and what the technology that were used before, and maybe by other competitor, was template-based. So basically, you're not really understanding anything on a document. You're just saying to a technology, this is the information you need to extract is right here, right? No matter, you create different templates and you're just teaching the solution to extract whatever is in that box. And when you try to say to people, we develop our own AI, our own algorithm, and it actually understand the invoice for you and will extract information because it can read it, there is a misconception that it doesn't work, it could not work. And you have to prove it. You have to say, send me your invoice and we'll show you in real time. And I think that was a challenge for us because AI wasn't a thing, 5 or 10 years ago, and all of a sudden became like a buzzword. And so you hear a lot of stuff about AI and could be like bad buzz, like, oh, AI can do this, and then all of a sudden, no, it's actually not true. And so convincing people that actually our technology work was very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And now they realize, they see it, everyone's talking about it, there's videos everywhere on the internet showing that. So it's less of a challenge, but it was definitely something 5, 6 years ago, yeah.
Did you, since like AI became very dominant in entire world, and it's in all the news, it's all over social media, did that help you in a way when you're presenting your solution, saying we're using AI, and then, or it's maybe made it more difficult because you need to distinguish, it's not a language generator, it's not something that writes for you, it's not going to take your jobs, it's like just making things easier.
So I think there is two sides of that. There is one that is beneficial because now people know what AIs can do and they see tons of things and everyone is talking about that. So that's great for us because we've been doing this for a very long time. So when they talk about AI, we can say, oh yeah, we've been doing this 15 years ago. So we're seen as a very robust solution then. The bad side of that is that, as you said, now everyone is doing AI. So it doesn't really mean anything. And you have to explain what kind of AI you're doing, because AI could be just an algorithm doing the same thing over and over again. And it's not really intelligence, So you have to explain what we do in terms of machine learning, in terms of deep learning, in terms of the algorithm we built. So yeah, it helped. But now we are in front of people, they feel like they know. And so you have to explain them a little bit deeper what actually we do.
So was there like a uptick in inquiries you get now when AI is so popular and then people are asking more about it? And did that reflect in any way to the number of clients that you're serving?
Yeah, so I think the way it worked is that everyone in the industry start mentioning AI pretty much everywhere. So that helped us, because we've been doing that again for 15 years. So we all of a sudden customers were actually coming to us because they saw AI somewhere, because they feel like it's a new thing, and so it definitely helped us. We also have a lot of just curious people. That's the same thing that is happening right now with e-invoicing. In Europe and some countries in Asia, there is that e-invoicing thing, and so companies are trying to look at this like, oh, it's the new thing, it's the new buzzword, and so they are just being curious and say, oh, you do e-invoicing? What do you do exactly? And so they come to you and they ask questions without actually having a need or project. So again, it helped, brings a lot of customers for sure, definitely. But also way more effort for us to try to convince and also maybe direct them into the right direction.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the beginning of our conversation, you mentioned you're just entering this market. So could you maybe share a bit of your vision for this market and what you're expecting to get here?
Yeah. So the reason why we want to invest and put effort into the Asian or the APAC market is that we feel like for quite a time the market wasn't educated enough to cloud systems, and so we thought like of course we can find some companies there and then there is a need, but it was not the right timing. And I feel that we're mentioning e-invoicing, there is some countries already doing this like Malaysia, they have that in place, and I think now everyone in Asia start looking at digital transformation, automating processes, being more efficient, saving money on manual tasks. And so it seems like a good timing for us to invest. I think the companies we are working with, a lot of them, they have subsidiary in Asia already. And so the industry being global, there's companies with subsidiaries everywhere in the world, made us realize that we do actually have tons of customers in Asia and are using Yooz and they're happy with it and it works well. So why don't we focus on that region even more? And the opportunity arose when we had a partnership with Infos System. And this is how actually we had that discussion with you and became partner. And as you're based in Vietnam, then it kind of aligns with our strategy. So now the goal for us is to target that market, to invest, to build a customer database, to have references, and we want to do that through partners, right? So we don't want to do any kind of direct sales. We want to invest on your local expertise as a partner, and the fact that you know the market, you know what the requirements are, and that's also why we're here today and spending time with you and the team is to align on that and what's going to be the strategy. So that's our vision for APAC, is to definitely work with you to attack the market and build that customer base.
Mm-hmm. So I know it's a very short period of time. You basically just came from the airport, but you probably did your research before. So what would you say would be the main differences and maybe the challenges for you in this market compared to Europe or the States, where you guys have a strong footprint?
Yeah. Well, so there is a few things. I think in Europe, the market is very mature, but it's also very competitive. So there's a lot of competitors doing a lot of things, and companies knows that they have to invest into digital transformation already. So so whenever you're replying to a tender or there is a customer coming to you, they are looking at 8 other solutions perhaps, right? So it's very, very competitive. Here, I think it's a bit less competitive, but also what I see is that you have to position yourself correctly, because the issue, what we have in Europe is that an accountant to do his job will have a paycheck at the end of the month that may be way different from what we can have here in APAC. So basically what it means is that the manual task in Europe cost way more money than the manual task in Asia. And they compare that, even though to me it's not the right things to look at, but this is still kind of like the basic stuff they are going to look at, is how much an accountant will cost me to process, let's say, 1,000 documents, or how much the purchase department will cost me to purchase, to raise 1,000 POs. And in Asia, that's the main difficulty we have. So to me, that's the main difference between the two territories. But then if you pass that, then the industry are very similar. The needs and the requirements are the same. Everyone wants to automate. Everyone wants to have security and traceability, what we said at the very beginning. So it's only a matter of positioning our solution correctly and have the right value proposition. And we don't want to position Yooz in front of how much an accountant will cost you, because this is not, the plan is not to replace the accountant, is to say to the accountant, the manual task you're doing right now, we don't want you to do that. We want you to do some more added value task, where you actually can bring value to the company and spend time on all the exceptional invoices you receive time to time, improving the relationship with the suppliers and stuff like that. So yeah, that's to me the main difference. And the main challenge also, to be honest, we'll have to tackle is that kind of value proposition, pricing position we have to adapt. But yeah.
Yeah, that was my follow-up question, actually, to explain like how the pricing will affect your strategy here, because buying power in this region cannot really compare to the buying power in Europe, where most of your clients sit at. So have you already noticed what you can do to adjust this and to make it more affordable or easier to adapt for the new adopters here?
Yeah, so I think there is different ways for us to tackle that. I think I was in a meeting maybe 30 minutes ago actually having that discussion. But yeah, basically we want to see how to position Yooz. Yooz is a solution that grow with our customer needs. Whenever a customer is requiring something, then we kind of look at what the market needs is. If there is a real need, then we develop something like a module or whatever. And so now we have a solution that can do tons of things. Maybe a way for us to position Yooz in the Asian market is to look at what is the very standard requirement that we need there, and maybe remove some elements from the Yooz application we have now that are useless for the market, so we can adapt a bit the pricing based on that. So basically we don't want to devalue our product, because to us the pricing position of Yooz in Europe should be the same everywhere in the world, because at the end of the day it's the same team working and providing the same solution. So we don't want to devalue our product, but maybe we want to adapt the offer to the market. So maybe fewer functionalities that may not be required, and by doing so, we can adapt and position Yooz a bit differently. Now, the other the other way we want to work is through partners. Again, so I was saying working with you is very important because you are going to be, or you know the market, so you know how you should be positioned. And so we're willing to listen to your point of view on that and see how we can do some kind of maybe early adopter kind of offer, maybe some pilot pricing to see if we need to do something on the pricing or not. But that's kind of the way we see things, is adapting the product without devaluating the actual solution, and working with a partner to see if we need to adapt maybe for a specific industry, specific customers, or under specific condition. But yeah, we want to make this investment. We want to make the effort. So we'll definitely come up with something.
Something that will probably pop up in the comments on this podcast, so I want to go ahead and ask it first. So most of your clients are based on Latin alphabet letters, like all the documents are in a similar alphabet.
Yeah.
What's your plan to adapting to this market? Because just like looking around our region, Vietnamese has its own letters, Cambodia has different, Thailand has different, Malaysia has different. So what is your intention with adjusting this to language?
Yeah, so we already, for example, for Vietnamese, we already worked on that to make sure we can OCR, read and extract correctly the information, even if it's different letters or alphabet. So we already did that for Vietnamese. We are going to continue to do that for other regions as well. So our goal for us is definitely to be able to read and extract information from document. That's a challenge, because in order for us to do that, we need to have data to do it. And so it means basically we need to have customers so we can actually improve the AI. That's how AI work. So we need to have customers to improve the AI so we can then say we are completely aligned on that and compliant, or we can read the language. So again, thanks to partners, we started that with Vietnamese. We are going to do that with Thailand or Cambodia or any other region that may require that. But yeah, that's definitely also a strategy for us. Hopefully sooner than later. But yeah, we need to have data to improve that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So looking ahead, what do you see as the future of the industry? Like, what are the next trends that you think are going to take over in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, so I think there is a lot of thing that happened recently when you look at the ERP system. Everyone at the same time launched their Copilot thing, So basically AI assistants helping you taking decision, which I think is a good thing. I just think it's the very beginning of what that could do. To me, the next trend should be around, when I look at what we do at Yooz, P2P automation, I think the next trend should be processing the documents, and for the solution to be able to forecast what's going to happen in the near future. So maybe by processing a lot of PO invoices or POs, looking at how much the price changed recently and predict what is going to happen. So to me, everything around prediction, AI, will be a big thing. Because today what we do is we talk about real-time data. So we talk about, you have the data for today, right now, in real time. I think the next thing is we predict what the data will be or what should happen, so we can help you taking decision. Because today we take decision with real-time data. Tomorrow we'll take decision with prediction, basically, of what could happen, to be always a step ahead. So that's, to me, a big thing that should happen in the next 3 to 5 years. We are already investigating on that at Yooz, as it's something we want to be able to do, whether it's predicting what a coding of an invoice should be based on a description, this kind of things. So yeah, to me, that should be a big thing coming up.
All right. So since Europe is kind of ahead of Asia when it comes to adopting these new technologies, and me being from Europe, I've seen a lot of things happen and then mistakes happen as well. So what would be your advice for this region, so we don't repeat the same mistakes like something you've seen in Europe perhaps, or in America?
Yeah. Well, so I think, the good thing is that you do have that experience of seeing what has been launched in Europe, to make sure that it will not happen in Asia. I think it's always important when it comes to AI or new technology and everything, that one thing we do at Yooz that I think is very important is to always do a nice scoping of whatever you're going to try to implement whatever it is, right? We, for example, at Yooz, we have a commitment period of 1 year. The reason why we do that is because we want to know that we want to let the customer knows that if they're not happy with our system after 1 year, they can just go, right? But our customer just stay customer because they're happy with the system. And the reason why they're happy with it is because right from the beginning, we scoped everything correctly. We went to every little detail to make sure nothing will just won't work. And so I think this is the way everyone should think. If you're about to go into something new, whether it's digital transformation, moving in Asia, e-invoicing, make sure to do a proper scoping, take time, invest into the implementation of whatever system you're going to implement, instead of just trying to find a cheap, quick, easy solution and then regret it in 3 years. And the reason why I was saying that we have 1 year commitment is that other competitors may have 3 years. And they have 3 years because maybe they know the customer won't be happy in 1 or 2 years, but they have to stay a customer because they signed a commitment. So that's our vision. That's how we see things. And I think the best things to do is to take time and don't be shy on investing in scoping everything and implementing everything, whatever it is.
So that kind of relates to my next question, and that is, let's imagine there's a company that is on the beginning of their journey to digital transformation. What would be your key piece of advice, how to stay ahead of the curve and how to do this properly in order not to have to change systems every year or so?
Yeah, so looking at the market, looking at what the market offers, obviously, to me, the main thing will be the people first. Change management is critical. You can have the best system implementing, you can implement the best system in the world. If the people are not ready to actually use it, it will not work. So the first thing is to do an internal kind of review of your team, what they're doing now, what is the pain point they're facing, and try to have everyone onboarded first. Whatever the digital transformation process is, you need to have the team being ready to do something and invest time into it. It could happen that sometimes when we implement a project, it fails, and most of the time it fails because people are not onboarded. They don't participate to the training session, and then afterward they say that Yooz is not doing the job correctly because they don't really know how to use it. So to me, that's the biggest mistake a company can make, is trying to move too fast without first having the whole commitment from the company, or at least the team that is going to be impacted by that digital transformation project. People first, obviously, and then things kind of what I was saying about the implementation. Do not be shy in the implementation on the number of days. Usually when you implement a project, you want to reduce that to the maximum. I think it's better to invest time and effort into implementing things correctly than regretting that in the future.
All right. So for the end, can you tell us where people can learn more about Yooz, where they can reach out to you guys or to us?
Yeah. Well, so we have our website, so it's called Get Yooz, so GETYooz.com, which is always nice to have a name like Yooz because you can do some, a lot of funny word with it. But yeah, so getyooz.com. We have everywhere on LinkedIn. I think if you type Yooz, then you'll see us. And obviously, we partner in Asia, so I think the best way is, reach out to you directly. And what is nice about us collaborating is that the whole team has been certified. So basically, if they talk to you, they talk to Yooz because the whole team knows about our system, our solution, how to implement it, how to demo it, and how to explain how the system works. So yeah, it's basically like one company, right? So.
All right. Thank you so much, Florian, for stopping by and for having this conversation with me. It was a pleasure, and thanks for the insight for the future.